गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 7, Ajnana Khandana, destruction of ignorance, or to show that there is nothing called ignorance. We are in verse number 57, I think. And here, last week, we saw I can't see. Some examples were given by Jnaneshwar Maharaj, and and there was a doubt which was presented, and that was that ignorance is what the teacher told was, ignorance is neither the effect nor cause of anything. The whole drama of cause and effect, karya karana, this is going on in avidya, in ignorance. And therefore the teacher is saying, after all the arguments that were presented, the examples that were given, that there is no cause and there is no effect. If avidya kama karma, the cause of karma is kama, the cause of kama is avidya, it does not stand the inquiry. And then the student and the teacher said, ignorance does not have the face to say that it is satya vastu with authority or conviction, or I am the author am afraid to make such a statement that ignorance is a reality. Ignorance is not a reality. Yes, it is anadi, it is beginningless. But the moment one comes to know himself in the correct manner, then ignorance has got no place. And here, the normal expression of ignorance in life is the non-apprehension of the reality, which creates misapprehension, avarna and vikshepa. Avarna does not allow one to know one's essential nature, and therefore one considers oneself limited as jivatma and suffers. So this is the argument which is given in different texts, and avarna and vikshepa. Avarna is the non-apprehension, vikshepa is the misapprehension, avarna is the forgetfulness of your essential nature, vikshepa is the projection of what you are not. And if that is said, that is also not true. Atmapa swapna dau nashake kir bahu parithaye thau nidejo jnene. The ignorance neither can show a dream of multiplicity to the Atma, nor can it take the self to deep sleep. That is, create inertness. In other words, the ignorance cannot create the experiencer versus experience duality in the self. Why? The basic premise is self is untouched by the game of avarna and vikshepa. Atma is independent, sakshi, unaffected, uninfluenced. Just as sun is uninfluenced by day and night, The gold is uninfluenced by appearance of creation of ornaments or melting of ornaments. Water is unaffected by appearance of waves, manifestation of waves or unmanifestation of waves. Similarly, Atma is the untouched principle, and that I am. So when our attention is on the creation, then to find the cause of creation, we go into cause and effect. But from Atmic point of view, from the absolute standpoint of view, only Atma is. And this is not something to be understood. You have to be that. And all that the teacher here in Jnaneshwar Maharaj is putting forth is, don't give importance to the ignorance. I have done japa, I have done puja, I have done meditation for so many years, then why still so many misfortunes are coming in my life? I did dedicatedly, I took care of my children, why do they not speak to me? I think I'm losing faith in the divine. Many people say like that. This is wrong, because you have made the divine into a bargaining chip. You are not a bargaining chip. The self is not a bargaining chip. Self is as it is. Your attention, your investment in the world is making you live at the level of cause and effect. Get out of it. Observe for what the world is. In fact, you don't have to even give attention to the world. You give only attention to the self. So here, truth manifests in two ways. One is the deep sleep state, the other is the waking and the dream states coming together. What is Swamiji saying here? Very important point. It is not cause and effect. Truth is manifesting as the deep sleep state. In truth, when we go to deep sleep, we are one with the reality. And right now also you are one with reality, because you are you are the self. Whether the wave is there or not there, water is the reality. Has water any time become absent because wave expressed? Has any time the gold become absent because the ornament was made? Similarly, has any time the Atma, the self, become absent because waking is there or dream has manifested or deep sleep has come? No. But where is our investment? In the experiences. We have to change our orientation, we have to change our disposition towards what is taking place. We are looking at these experiences and we want to come to know the self. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is being the self and looking at everything in the light of the self. This shift must come in us as a result of Amrutanubhava. And this is what is contemplation. Again and again, look at everything from the Atmic point of view. And Atma necessarily is all encompassing. Atma necessarily is one without a second. So again and again, think, come to this point and just be. Don't look for a conclusion. This is the tapasya that we have to do. See? This is the jihad. This is the jihad. In the waking and dream planes of consciousness, multiplicity is the expression. In deep sleep, it is the absence or utter inertia. Ignorance, which is non-existence, can neither create multiplicity in the form of waking and dream planes, nor can it create the inertness of the deep sleep state. Ignorance, which is not. Ignorance is that which is not. How can that which is not create waking and dream? How can it create deep sleep? How can from nothing something be created? We say that initial stages when a student is beginning, we say in those in that manner. But these are the words of realized master. So was Krishna not realized? Yes, he is also realized. Where are Upanishads not the climax of all knowledge? Yes. Is Shankaracharya not knowledgeable? Yes, he knows the self. But each one presents it across, brings it across in a different manner. And eventually it will come to the same thing. But that prakriya, that explanation was taken in the beginning stages. These three planes of consciousnesses are possible not because of ignorance, but because of consciousness. Can a dead man have waking dream and deep sleep? Simple answer. Can a dead man have waking dream and deep sleep? No. Who has waking dream and deep sleep states? Only one who is alive. What is that principle which is missing in the dead man but is present in the living person? That principle itself is the self. That alone is expressing as the waking dream and deep sleep. Now the component presents a peculiar line of logic. Opponent presents a peculiar line of logic to prove that ignorance is inherent in the pure self. Now he is saying, see, this question comes from that Ishwar Prakriti coexist, Shiva and Parvati coexist, Krishna and Radha coexist. Radha is the Prakriti, Krishna is the Purusha, Shiva is the Purusha, Shakti is the Prakriti. And therefore, the argument that the Prakriti, the ignorance, the Maya is inherent within the Purusha, within the self. And if you remember, every time we say that in this text also, that Paramashiva as if became Shiva and Shakti. Now you will remember, now you will understand the importance of the word as if. Importance is not Shiva Shakti. Importance is to be given to as if, that everything is happening without anything happening. And that is the Leela. When you create cause and effect in it, you are caught up. When you take it as the divine game, the divine Leela, then there is no cause and effect. It just is, because he alone is playing with himself. There is appearance without anything happening. There are events taking place, but nothing is happening. Birth is happening, but there is no birth. Death is happening, but there is no death. War is happening, but there is no war. Why? Creation is happening and actually nothing is happening. Dream appears to be very real, but actually nothing is happening. And dream is only real as long as you are sleeping. You have to wake up. So how long is the waking dream and deep sleep real? As long as you are sleeping to yourself. Wake up to yourself. Uttishta Jagrata, our Kathopanishad. Prapya Varan Nibodhata. See? Now now he's saying that the ignorance is inseparable from the self. You can argue, because the self is, therefore ignorance is. Because I'm alive, therefore sleep is coming. Because I'm alive, therefore self forgetfulness is there. I didn't create it, it came. So it must be in the self, that's why it has come. Because the waking and dream are in the self, therefore they are appearing. Because the deep sleep is in the self, therefore it is appearing. If ignorance is not there, where did these three come from? Did they come from the self? The opponent is saying they came from the self. They are inseparable from the self. हे असो जिये वेळे आत्मपणेची निखळे आत्मा अज्ञान मेळे असे तेणे. Let it be so, but when the Atma exists all by itself, one without a second, can we say that ignorance coexists inherently with it? The opponent is saying, okay, whatever you have said, I accept, but this but is always there. Arjuna's but. I agree what you are saying, but I still believe that to kill my guru, kill my elders, kill my brothers is wrong. I still believe that if I do all this, there will be Varna Sankar, that I will go to heaven, hell. I will gather sins. So same way, this student, yeah, I agree what you're saying, but I think ignorance is still inherent in the self. All right, I agree that ignorance cannot be established by inference from its effects. So the opponent is agreeing that the ignorance cannot be established from the effects. Effects cannot illuminate the cause. Also, with my mind, I am thinking about the self. Now, you are making the mistake. Don't think with the mind. Don't think with the mind. The material of the mind with which it is made, what is it? Consciousness alone. Who are you? Consciousness. Then why you need thoughts to conclude that there is consciousness? Just be. However, there is still a possibility of ignorance existing in the pure self. For ignorance is defined as that where there is the trio of knower, known, and knowledge. For ignorance is defined as where there is a trio of knower, known, and knowledge. In the pure self, there is no division of knower, known, and knowledge. At the same time, the trio is the expression of the pure self as the division in pure knowledge. Student, he's still trying to work it out objectively. His still attention is on the waking, dream, and deep sleep, and each one, waking and dream cannot be possible without the dreamer, dream world, dream experience, waker, waking world, waking experience, and the absence of the two. So he's saying, if you are saying ignorance is not the cause and waking, dream, deep sleep are not the effect, then it must have come from the self only. He's still caught up in cause and effect. He wants to find out from where it came. Where have the waking, dream, and deep sleep states come from? It must be an expression of the self itself. This is the problem of objectivity. This is the problem of being obsessed with name and form. Asti bhati priya nama roop. The world is defined as Asti bhati priya nama roop. Asti bhati priya Satchidanand. Nama roop. In this, these are the 5 things there in this world. Out of this, Nama Roop is the world, Asti Bhati Priya is the self. And where are we obsessed with? Are we obsessed or are we abiding in Asti Bhati Priya? Or are we obsessed with Nama Roop? And being obsessed, hooked on to Nama Roop, name and form, we want to find out the self which is beyond name and form. And where is name and form? Is it in the world? It's in the mind. The whole world is in the mind. And we are obsessed with the name and form in the mind. And what is the nature of the mind? Asti Bhati Priya. Because the whole world is in the mind. So the whole world is Asti Bhati Priya Nama Roop. You are forgetting the Asti Bhati Priya Satchidanand and you are only obsessed with Nama Roop. And through Nama Roop, name and form, we want to know the Satchidanand. It is not possible. See what sabotage we are committing on ourselves. Clear what I just said? We are obsessed with that which should not be obsessed. In the pure self, there is no division of knower, known, and knowledge. The student is telling the teacher. Teacher knows that in the self there is no division of triputi. There is no triad possible. At the same time, the trio is the expression of the pure self. And if you say waking, dream, and deep sleep are nothing but pure self, the student has added one word. They are the expression of the pure self. Is equal to the trio must be nothing but the pure self. Must be in the pure self. Otherwise, how can they come out? How can they express and manifest and unmanifest? But does self manifest and unmanifest? Does Atma manifest and unmanifest? No. Atma is constant. Does sun become dark and light? No, it remains constant. And where is the waking day and night? Our obsession is with day and night, meaning waking and dream and sleep. Waking and dream are the day and deep sleep is the night. And now the student is trying to prove that the day and night have come from the sun. They are inseparable from the sun. How foolish that statement is. Sun is the cause of waking and dream. Is it? Sorry, sun is the cause of day and night. Is the sun the cause? Ask the sun. He says, what is day? I don't know. What is night? I don't know. So how can he be the cause of that? He's not aware of anything. बड़ा मजेदार, very interesting discussion going on here. So our obsession is with the appearance. Appearance is never constant. It comes and goes. And we want to, because of our obsession with the appearance, with the name and form, with the coming and going, and because we can't find a reason, a cause from where it has come, because we are so addicted to I was born, I will die. We are seeing everything coming into existence and going out of existence. So we want to find the cause. So where has this come from? If ignorance is not the cause, it must be part and parcel of the self. It must be an expression of the self. Think in this manner. Is the wave expression of water? Is the wave in water? Is the water the cause of the wave? Water, huh? Not ocean. Water. Atma is water. From water point of view, there is nothing called wave. But when you're looking at it and you're trying to, because world is cause and effect, we are clicked into the world in that manner. Every experience, if I eat food, I get satisfied, cause and effect. If two people, husband and wife, come together, a child comes, cause and effect. You go to sleep and you become refreshed in the morning, cause and effect. As you sow, so you reap, cause and effect. See how we have trained ourselves to get addicted to this type of thinking. But here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is taking us out of our mind. Mind is, for general purpose, mind is cause and effect. But he is trying to show us that there is only one, and that is the Atmic Self. There is nothing else apart from the Absolute. So don't get into this altercation, don't get into this debate or discussion of talking about that which does not exist. What does not exist? Other than Atma, nothing is. Only Atma is. So talk about Atma. See only Atma. Hear only Atma. Again, when I use these words out of ignorance, out of again I'm giving importance to seeing, hearing, touching, feeling. No, you be. तो यहाँ पे बोलते हैं, here he says, uh, this is how knowledge and ignorance are called the same. The opponent is saying, this is how the knowledge and ignorance are called the same. Uh, Absence of this knowledge is called ignorance, and therefore ignorance is inherent in the Atma and it is not other than Atma. Therefore, the identification, tadatmya, uh, uh, therefore, the identification, tadatmya of ignorance with Atma is so strong that one cannot be separated from the other. So, this is what our experience is. We are unable to unclick ourselves from the mind. We are unable to unclick ourselves from the Triputi. We are unable to unclick ourselves from the obsession with name and form. See? So he's giving examples now. न करिता मंथन काष्ठी अवस्थान जैसे का हुताशन सामर्थ्याचे. Just as the fire is latent in the wood before limit ignited by friction, if the wood is not ignited, the fire will not manifest. But that does not mean that the fire is not present in the wood. In the same way, Atma may not manifest in the presence of ignorance. But like fire which is latent in the wood, ignorance does exist in the Atma. See, we can use any example in this world to make your point. You can validate your point by taking some or the other example. There are enough examples in this world. But understand, no example is equal to Atma. So here he has taken the latent, that the fire is latent in a wood. That is how the ignorance is latent in Atma. In other words, the potentiality is latent within the Purusha, in the Paramashiva. When he, as if desires, the potentiality suddenly becomes sprouts, and now that Paramashiva is called as Shiva and Shakti. Yes, this is going on. No doubt at the creation level, this is all going on. But to consider Shiva and Shakti to be separate, and giving the Shakti the name ignorance, giving the Shakti the name Maya, giving Shakti the name so many other avyakta, unmanifest. Shakti knows what her true nature is. Shiva knows what his true nature is. And we are confused as to what their nature is. Atma may not manifest in the presence of ignorance, but like fire which is latent in the wood, ignorance does not exist in the Atma, does exist in the Atma. In this way, in OVs 58 and 59, the opponent presents his argument to establish that ignorance exists in the pure self. His argument is on these lines: in pure consciousness or pure knowledge, there is total absence of the triad of knower known knowledge. Absence of knowledge is ignorance. Therefore, ignorance is in the Atma. It exists as Atma's inherent nature, as fire exists in the wood. This is the argument that the opponent is putting forth to the teacher. Here, basically, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is himself becoming the opponent and himself is answering. Shankaracharya does the same. See? So we are clear as to what the position of the argumentator is. That the triad is manifesting and unmanifesting. And if ignorance is not the triad, or if it is, when the triad is unmanifesting, it is ignorance. When it is manifesting, then it is triad, knower known knowledge. And when it is unmanifesting, where does it go? When the triad is not manifesting, where does it go? When the waker, waking world and the waking experience is not experiencing, where do the three go? It's a very, we can go in the wrong direction. A dead man cannot have the waker, waking world and waking experience, isn't it? Only a living person can have this triad experience, this triad. So if in the waking person, the triad is coming and going, when it goes away, where does it go? And where it came from? It must have come from the Atma. And to validate his argument, he gives the example of the wood and the inherent fire within the wood. That the potential of fire to express in the wood is there. Similarly, the potential of the triad to express is there, inherent in the self. Now the Jnaneshwar Maharaj refutes this argument. This is the only problem in this whole discussion. If you have a little bit of cool-headedness rather than getting lost in the words, is one person is looking from outside in and Jnaneshwar Maharaj is looking from inside out. Where are you sitting? Are you sitting outside and looking at the self? Or are you being the self, abiding in the self and then looking at? Because Jnaneshwar Maharaj is realized master. Still the senses are functioning, mind is functioning for other people. They see him as a body. We see Mahatmas as a body. But where is Mahatma sitting? Is he sitting in the body? Is he sitting in the Virat? Is he sitting in the unmanifest? Or is he sitting in the self, as the self? That choice we also have. Where are we sitting? Wherever we are in our abidance, in our conviction again going to intellect, that will be our experience of the world. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj is coming from the absolute Paramashiva point of view. तैसे आत्मा ऐसे नाव न साहे आत्मयाची बरव तय काही अज्ञान हाव बाधिते का. This Atma cannot even bear the name of Atma. How can it ever contain ignorance? Many masters have said, any name given to the self, even the word self, Atma, Brahman, Satchidanand Swarup, we saw that in the one of the verses before, chapters before. These are all abuses to the reality, including the word reality, is an abuse to reality. No name can stick to that which is always. Now, don't keep it a concept in your mind. You are that always. We are afraid to take that responsibility. That I am everything. Babre. On one hand, we are afraid to take that responsibility. On the other hand, we are afraid to lose what we have created for last 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. All the investments we have done in the name and form. We are afraid to lose it. And yet, life is making you lose it every night. And it is your experience that every night when you lose, you become refreshed. Why don't you lose it once and for all? And हमेशा हमेशा के लिए refresh हो जाओ. That is what a disposition of Mahatma is. See? Jnaneshwar Maharaj replies, you say that ignorance is inherent in the Atman, but I say that even the word Atman itself is not meaningful to describe the Atma Tattva. It is a mere word that is used. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. Words cannot illuminate the truth. Mind cannot comprehend the truth. Don't forget that, because when we get into discussion like this, where is our attention? On the argument that is going on. Wow, it seems right what this fellow is saying. Jnaneshwar Maharaj straight away comes to the point. Even Atma is an abuse to the self. It is not meaningful to describe the Atma Tattva. It is a mere word that is used. That is the problem when one tries to talk about the subject as if it were an object. So, what are we doing? We are objectifying the truth that we are. And where is the objectification taking place? Taking place in the mind. Mind cannot think without objectifying. So, again it comes to the same statement. I think, therefore I am, or I am in spite of thinking. Now you have heard it many times, but how many times we have sat and contemplated on the impact of this statement, the consequence of this statement? We heard it many times. As if the Atma is something sweet and Satchidananda is the rasa in it, and the two are separate from each other. The sugar and sweetness of the sugar, are they separate? Is the heat and light and the sun separate? Is the luster and the gold separate? So is is the subject. We are making the subject as an object, and this is what I said before, from outside we are looking inwards. So we have created division, outside, inside, but there is no division. We have created division, me and my reflection. But even if the reflection is not there, you are. As if the Atma is something sweet and Satchidananda is the rasa in it, and the two are separate from each other. When this point is taken, then those who are approaching with this idea that Atma is rasa swarup, and they start having the ecstasy and bhava samadhi, etc., etc. Where are this ecstasy? In the mind. Where is bhava? In the mind. Who are you? The Atma. Ecstasy comes and goes, bhav comes and goes. Who are you? The one who does not come and go, who is always. This is discrimination. Atma cannot be referred to as if it were a substance having properties. And we have seen that in the previous chapter, where the words Satchit Ananda were themselves negated, that they cannot prove the self. And from that we came to the next stage, or before that, that the word itself is useless in illuminating the Atma. Ignorance is also a word. As much as Atma is a word, ignorance is also a word. This I cannot be described by any words, not even by the word Atma, because every word originates from the self. This being so, where is the possibility of ignorance being contained in the pure self? Every word originates in the self. Then where is the question? Everything is the self then. But we have created the objectivity. We have created the sense of otherness, that I have to come to know myself, the real me, as if you are not real right now. Then where is our obsession? Where is our obsession? Where is our focus? Is it on being the self, or is it on working out that I am the self through thoughts? Or on working out that I am the self, let the mind work out. But have the disposition that all this is a game that is going on within me. then we are in Ishvara Dvayavada. Nothing is rejected, nothing is accepted. Everything is just as it is. We are not denying anything. And if we are trying to, when I make this statement, again we'll try to work it out. There's nothing to work out. Everything is just as it is. The challenge comes because our mind wants to play the game of cause and effect. It is addicted to it. We have to get out of this cause and effect. The Upanishad method is first to make a statement of the fact, like in the beginning, Atman alone is. The tense of past, present, and future is not born yet, and then follows the text to establish the fact. In the same way, Sant Jnaneshwara makes a statement of fact that even to refer to the pure self as Atma is wrong, and therefore it is impossible that ignorance should exist in it. There is a statement of fact. Accept it and be. Don't accept it. No, 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 but I need to work it out. Then don't be. To establish this point, he quotes a few examples in the next three OVs. काय दीप न लाविजे तैची काजळ फेडिजे की नुगवता वाळिजे रुखाची छाया. Is it ever possible to remove the soot from the unlighted lamp? Or is it possible to remove the shadow of the unborn tree? No, because the same does not exist. Similarly, is it possible? Well, we'll see where he is taking us. Another example, नाना नुठिता देह दशा काल ऊनी लाविजे चिकसा न घडिताची आरिसा उटिजे काही. Can we ever bathe an unborn body with a fragrant soap? How can we polish a non existent mirror? How can we polish a non existent mirror? You understood this point? And what are we trying to do? We are trying to purify the mind. The mind is covered with the soot, with the dust, and we have to purify the mind so that I see myself as I am. But a Baba, mind is not there only in the first place. Then what is there? Only the self is. How can we polish a non existing mirror? Continuing with another example, third example, का वो हाच्या दुधी साईची आसावी आधी मग फेडू यया बुद्धी pavadu kize. Before milking the cow and collecting its milk, how can one talk of removing cream from the milk? The conclusion drawn from the examples given in the above three OVs is explained in verse number in OVs 64 to 66. तैसा आत्मयाचा ठाई जय आत्मपणा ठाव नाही तय अज्ञान काही सारिखे कैसे. In the pure self, when I am the self, knowledge does not exist. How can the ignorance ever exist? अरे beautiful, क्या बात है. In the pure self, that I am the self, knowledge does not exist. In the sun, the knowledge that I am brightness does not exist. Simple story over. Then how can he? No. There might be a possibility that darkness covers me. I should be careful. I should be alert. I should be vigilant. Will a sun ever be that way? No. Apply it to yourself. Remain alert. Remain vigilant. Give value only to the self. Where is this entire prakriya? Only in the mind. And what is mind? Mithya. That which is existing in its own absence. Have you ever seen the mind? You've seen all the objects of the world. You've seen your body. You've felt your breath. But you have never seen the mind. And yet we are living at the level of mind alone. You say the thoughts are coming and going, but where are they? They are appearing in the mind, and the mind is that which is not. See? And that we have taken to be real. We have taken the coming and going to be real. We have taken the differences to be real. We have taken the otherness to be real. We have taken the ephemeral to be real. Ephemeral means that which is coming and going. And we are obsessed with that. Hunger, thirst, waking, dream, deep sleep, imagination, conviction, body, breath, thoughts. The whole world is nothing but coming and going, and we are addicted to it. In the pure self, when I am the self, knowledge does not exist. How can the ignorance ever exist? Swamiji says, with reference to the pure self, even the mention of the Atma has no meaning. Where then is the question of ignorance being meaningful in the pure self? Even the statement, I am the self, has got no meaning, then where's the question of ignorance itself? If ignorance is not possible in the pure self, where is the question of removing it? If darkness is not possible in the sun, where is the question of removing the darkness? See? So, it will be like the example of the snake on the rope. One can neither catch the snake nor drive it away. Neither can you catch the wave, nor you can dissolve the wave. Nor can you catch the ornament, nor can you remove the ornament. Because you catch the ornament, what are you touching? Gold. You taste the ornament, what are you tasting? Gold. Gold is the truth. Water is the truth. One can, so the one who is experiencing the snake on the rope, neither can you catch the snake, nor can you remove the snake. And this is where unwanted experiences come, when we try to remove the mind, when we try to control the mind, when we try to artificially focus and concentrate the mind. Oh, but in Yoga Sutra, yeah, that is Yoga Sutra. Here we are talking from the absolute standpoint. Who are you? The absolute. There also all that was explained after Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Quieten the mind and be the self. Rest, first three verses. What about the rest of the 571 or 72 sutras in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra? It is only because he did not understand the first three. Everything else is explanation of those first three only. Same way, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, first, straight away, Atma is. And to call Atma as Atma itself is not valid. Now, after that, once this statement sticks, then we can look at examples, look at arguments, discussions to come to the same conclusion, to understand that we are the untouched one, we are the immaculate one. The self is the immaculate one. Therefore, instead of pursuing the pointless exercise of removing or destroying ignorance, it is wiser to focus attention on the pure self. देखो वहीं पे आ गए वापस घूम घाम के. Don't try to control the world. Don't try to still the body. Don't try to quieten the breath or make the breath shallow. Don't try to delete the thoughts from your mind. All these are artificial exercises. And they have their consequences if not done properly. Because in all these exercises, doership is there. I have to control the body, I have to control the breath, I have to control the mind. I am not miserable because of the misery, but I am miserable because I am alive. This I, the pure consciousness, is not affected by the three planes of consciousness, but the pure self is manifesting as the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. Such comprehensive thinking, centered on the pure consciousness, will lead to joyful meditation and struggle free existence. So, first you understand Atma is the constant. Yeah, I understand Atma is constant. But I am not the Atma at this moment. I want to be the Atma, I want to be the Atma, I want to be the Atma. So, what effort did you put right now? What effort have you put to not be the husband, wife, mother, brother, sister? What effort have you put? Nothing. You just became available to the satsang, and whatever you are not automatically dropped away. Effortless glide, effortless being. Same way, initially we begin, I am the self, I am the self. And then we come to realize, unnecessarily I am saying that I am the self, as if I was not before. I was always the self. The moment that clicks, all pursuit vanishes from your mind. In fact, the mind vanishes. How does the mind vanish? Just like I am the sleepy, I am sleepy, I am sleepy, then mind vanishes. All the thoughts, all the waking, all the dream vanishes from the mind. This is just an example. The only difference here is that in deep sleep, you are ignorant. Imagine what it will be like that the mind is zero or not zero, initially zero, and you are awake. Will you see a zero mind? Like you see waking and like you see dream, will you see a zero mind? Is there something called a zero mind? This problem of void and emptiness only comes because of objective approach. Mind is nothing but consciousness. And when mind becomes silent, effortlessly, then consciousness is what all that remains. Then there's no question that I am seeing the emptiness and I'm afraid of the darkness. There's no darkness because you did not begin with being the self. Therefore, and you must have read somewhere, there is darkness, there is void, there is emptiness. Don't go in that direction. Such comprehensive thinking centered on pure consciousness. So, healthy thinking is that, discrimination is that, which focuses on the constant, changeless, infinite principle. And that is not outside, that is who I am in essence. This thought is echoed in Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna declares that Atma cannot even be called Atma. It is neither being nor non being. Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 12th verse. नेयं यतत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते ज्ञानादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न तत् न स क्या है न सत्तन्ना नासदुच्यते. I shall tell you that which has to be known, knowing which one attains immortality. It is the beginningless supreme Brahman which is said to be neither being nor not being. See? Neither being nor not being. I am, after death I will be not. Right now I am the body, in meditation I have gone beyond the body. What are you? Nothing. Get out of this. And the jnanam will dawn only on him who has the sukshma, subtle buddhi, intellect to transcend the limitations of intellectual perceptions. And that capacity, that ability, that strength only comes when the intellect is choosing to remain with the theme of the infinite. When the intellect is consciously choosing to remain with the theme of the constant principle, not remaining with the thoughts. See? And in this way, how can the ignorance ever exist in the pure self? Fatherhood is a relative expression of the absolute man. Man continues to exist whether he manifests as father or not, but the pure self is not of that nature. It has no relative manifestation as Atmahood or selfhood. It is the self itself. Such being the case, where is the question of ignorance in the pure self? See? So before I was a father, mother, daughter, sister, now I am a man. Then as a man, I was body, breath, mind, intellect, now I am the consciousness. When we understand the example of giving away all the roles, coming back to the man. So we gave up fatherhood to become to maintain manhood. Now we want to give up bodyhood and want to become selfhood. Become the self. Not become the self. You are the self. Whether you accept it or don't accept it. Whether you abide in it or don't abide in it. You are the self. We will stop here. I'll just read only the 65 and 60 just to. Therefore, it has been proved certainly that even before creation there was no ignorance in the pure self. Why keep repeating it again and again? The opponent is being spoken to. Thus, the Atma cannot be conditioned by the presence or absence of anything to say that the ignorance is existent in the self or by itself is like saying then he keeps giving examples, is like saying that the day and night are affecting the sun, the appearance and disappearance of the pot is affecting the mud, and so on. The examples, many examples are taken afterwards. So self that I am is independent, is self-existing, without any crutches, without any support. And what are the crutches for us? Thought is a crutch, thought is a support, breath is a support, body is a support, contemplation is a support, meditation is a support, japa is a support. And should we not do it? Do it. But don't forget that we must not fall into the trap that by doing this, self will get revealed. Self does not get revealed because of something. No. Self is self revealed all the time. And that you are. I'll conclude a bit early today. I have to go to the airport now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om everyone. See you. If we are not able to do the Sunday class on Sunday mornings because it will be a odd time, we might do it any time other, most probably on Fridays if and when. So check in the Zoom. If it is on, we will do it on Friday nights. Try and get onto the Zoom every Saturday, every Monday to Friday. Check if there is a class going on. Something will, if I'm there, good, we can be together. Otherwise, Wednesday, Thursday, and yeah, I'll try and.
Swamiji, please message Swamiji on the WhatsApp group.
I'll put it in the Wednesday. But everyone is in different groups. So I'm just letting everyone know that just log on to Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, sorry. And any day, whenever I'm free, I will take some class wherever possible. है ना?
Swamiji, what could be the time that
Same time.
So
No,
if it's
except
Sunday,
every day 7:30 to 8:30 evening.
okay, Swamiji, that's great.
And
Okay,
yeah, Sunday will not be possible. Sunday evening might be possible, depends where I am. So
sweet.
evenings you log in and see if something is going on, and then we'll take it from there. If it is
Okay,
not there, it is not there. But don't then try the next day. I will also
sure.
try and send the messages because I will keep my phone off. That is the
Okay,
problem. And because otherwise I'll be charged $5 a day,